Yes, yes, let's start.
Hello, welcome to Kevin Simon Management. Starting the session. Our session will be top engineering, intermediate from engineering from product. Friend, you can start.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, all. Okay. So, prompt engineering, I think by now everyone is an expert already. Uh, See, it's been there. It's been a little bit new, but still, it's been there for a while now. And, we know, nowadays, most of us depend this, especially the techies, right? So is there a background noise problem?
Now
I'm good.
prevent.
Okay. Okay. So uh, my topic is about an intermediate introduction. So why intermediate is because it's there is no point in talking about basic anymore, right? Most of us know what generative AI is and everything, and basic prompts as well. Especially techies, we by now we already even if we did not do any course, we already might have constructed our own techniques. We might have found out our own techniques, and only problem is whatever knowledge we gather initially, we might tend to continue. We may not be exploring all the possibilities of that feature, that technology. So I am going a little bit further, but uh, even when I say intermediate, the techniques you might be using it already, knowingly or unknowingly, subconsciously, you might be using it. Why? Because these tools like Bing Chat, this Chat GPI, Bard, up to an extent, they are intelligent enough to understand what your intent is, what you are trying to achieve, right? So when you ask a question, just like how you used to search in normal Google, right? So these tools will try to interpret based on the knowledge it has already, and will try to give maximum accurate information. But still, most of not most, at least few people still believes these tools are not capable. These tools are not giving a accurate response, which I am expecting. That could be because these things are still evolving, and uh, the accuracy of data depends on the training data it has. Also, that dependency is there, but as users, most of the time it's all about how we ask the questions. So we have to set the context. This We cannot consider these AI tools as another person, right? The thinking capability is a little bit lesser. So we need to tell them specifically on what context, what kind of information we are expecting, what in what format, those kind of parameters we have to give. Then only we will be getting the more accurate expected answer. So some of the techniques we are going to explore today. So about me, I hope few of you already know. I am Praveen. I worked in Oran 3 years back, and now I am demonstrating this from Dubai. I am working for a company named AdFox LLC. The designation, I am a program director, but I am mostly into solution architecture and some program management. And I work on the application development, the modernization, the cloud uh, transformation, and a few data projects here. AI is not my main area here. Uh, the prompt tools I am mostly a user. So I am not going to talk about LLM, generative AI, those kind of stuff. But you already know that there are tons of tools already available, and there are few powerful models and powerful providers available. From those, there are new tools inherited and customized, and you might be using something more than what we have, this chat GPT, Bard, Bing, and all, right? Maybe on top of this, you might be using some plugins also in browsers or Visual Studio or something as well. So your experience might be different. So what I am going to talk about is the our browser-based tools, and mainly I'll be demonstrating the chat chat GPT thing only. And you might know this. There are slight differences between these tools uh, on how they behave and how much data they are trained on, and for example, this chat gpt has limited data. The latest in 2023 information, if you ask, it may not be able to provide, right? And the capabilities also different, like bard, you can even do some kind of image recognition kind of stuff. Some advanced topics also it supports, but we will limit to our text based interpretations only. So before I move deep uh, into the intermediate topics, so I assume most of us are into technology here, and we are using the chat tools for supporting our coding, right? So in case if there are beginners, how a programmer uses the chat GPT, I will start with that. I will give an example. Let us assume I want to create a program in Python, for example, and it is based on a data set. Okay. So if you have a data set already in place, then there are data import limitations in this chat tools. So and also you don't have to import those data as well, because it's just test data is enough. So in my case, I will just tell ChatGPT the schema, the data format, and I will ask uh, it to create a Python script quickly. I will type uh, uh, just like a human being. Okay, I have the JSON file with the data. I will go with the Kanban this task schema. Okay, task ID will be there. There will be a task summary. Date created will be there. Importantly, task status. And also, it is important to give some context as well. So, uh, as much as context details you give, as much as clarity of response you will get. So, I am going to give importance to task status here. So, I am going to tell ChatGPT that these are the statuses I am my JSON file is having, like the task status can be open, progress, and finally it's completed or done. And uh, we have a data problem, right? I do not have any data readily available, so I am going to ask ChatGPT to generate that as well. And we have to be careful when you use generate. Uh, ChatGPT will think we are asking him to create a program for that also. So rather than that I will assume some dummy data and create a Python script to plot a graph. Okay. Okay. It gave necessary steps as well. If you are already a Python programmer and if you have the Python installed already, and this kind of stuff you might be having already. So I am not even going to check what script it wrote, but when you write for production applications, make sure you review the code and make sure there are no malicious lines are involved. So I am copying this, or maybe I will go to Python. Okay, let me try to run this. If the library, everything is there, this should work. Okay, it's not something else. Okay, it is trying to open from the file. It did not generate the uh, dummy data. Okay, I have some dummy data here, and now I have to edit that program. Rather than that, I will ask the tool to combine that. Okay. Uh, now, okay, this is the graph. Little bit weird, but we can make this beautiful, in fact. So you can add some supporting parameter in the form of some prompts, and script will get altered, and you will always have this graph. Okay. In fact, I've used this for production apps as well, and it works beautifully. Okay. So this is something which we as programmers use on a daily basis, right? Okay. Now let us go to some advanced topics. Before that, it is very important that how this to know that how this prompt really works. These are kinds of basic statements you might be using when you started learning this stuff, right? So, okay. So if you ask how many birds are outside my house, how is it going to think? It is giving you the honest opinion, right? It doesn't have the answer actually. But again, one more thing is, see, when you ask this kind of question, there is every time you ask the same question, it gives different responses. Sometimes it will be meaningful, sometimes it will be blunt, like I don't know. sometimes it will give it will try to support, and sometimes it will ask more, come up with some more parameters and all. And each tool behaves differently. Okay, so when I run this query now, this is the uh, response I have now. If I ask the same question again, so it already assumed, since I asked the same question again, it is now a little bit confused, and I apologizing for that confusion as well, right? So uh, still, we should not be stopping here, right? We are in a learning stage, and if we really want to know answers to this question, we have to support ChatGPT by providing some context information. It can give uh, it cannot give accurate answers, but uh, somewhat it can give some idea, right? So uh, how we can support, right? There are different strategies for that. So one strategy could be, I am going to ask ChatGPT, from now on, whenever I ask a question, give me or teach me how to ask a question. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to teach me how to write better prompts. Okay, so from now on, this is not a template or anything. It's plain English. Okay, you can use your own style of wording. Can I ask a question? I just if I would like to use. So I am asking ChatGPT to give me suggestions on what is a good question. So I will ask the same question again. Okay. See, it kind of refined my question so that ChatGPT gets some context, right? Now, would you like to use this revised question? I am going to say yes. Let me ask this question. Okay, now it is trying to help us. So this way, if you are not really sure how the question which you are trying to ask, if ChatGPT is not responding properly, then you can ask ChatGPT itself to suggest some a better way to ask the same question. Okay, now if you type another question, what color is the sky? See, now one thing to notice is I did not really. Actually, I forgot that I asked ChatGPT to give me the suggestions, but still, this context is remembering my last instruction to ChatGPT. That's why it is, instead of giving the response, it is trying to give. Though it gave some hint, it is giving a refined question as well, right? Okay, now one more basic thing I want to tell you. So, so now whenever you ask question, it is simply giving some plain answers, right? We can direct ChatGPT to give the format which you really want as well. So, uh, to give an example, suppose you want to get the details as a CSV format or JSON or HTML format, you have to specify that. That's it. As an example, mm, give me a list of mobile phone brands and price in tabular form. We have a structured list here, right? Now I will use the same question but in a different format. Say in JSON. So if you want some text data for your application, and if you have some specific format like CSV, comma separator list, or JSON or something, you can always use this kind of directions as well. Okay, these are some basic things you can use for your daily tasks. Now, information scrapping, right? So let us uh, maybe you know this already, this grammar check option blocking and all. So check. I'm just giving a for template format. So whatever text you have, you give. It will check the grammar and correct it, and you can even grammar check and refactor. So it will give different options as well. So next, what I will do is let us get some text from Google. I will go with the chief minister. I will copy some text from here. What I am going to do is uh, summarize below text. in- Okay, so some big text. See, it is extracting data, right? It is saving a lot of time. Now, uh, it shows the date of birth. So, what will happen if I ask a specific format? Uh, mm, give details. Mm, let me try the same prompt. We can always use the previous responses, right? We just have to refer like from the about response, do this and all. I'm going to do this, and I'm adding format name comma date of birth. See, it gave only that specific information. Now instead of date of birth, I am going to ask the age. What will happen? Oh, sorry, I did not edit. See, it did some calculation without even asking, right? So it just assumed that formula. But you have to keep in mind that this may not be the case always. Sometimes it will directly tell you that age information is not available in the text above. Okay. In that case, what you can say is in the prompt itself, ask the prompt tool to calculate age from date. That's it. Now it gets the context and it will give the accurate information. Okay. Let us move forward. Okay. Now, this is a confusing scenario, right? So, these tools, if you look at their documentation, these tools are always in experimental beta mode, right? So, uh, even though the answers might have some similarity, it is not guaranteed that you are going to get answers always similar. So this morning I was asking ChatGPT to give some information as a ethical hacker. Okay, so when I asked first time, it was kind of moral policing, like it cannot help in that context. It's illegal activity and all. But later, when I tried after some other experiments, when I asked the same question, it gave me answers as well. So there is always some method available out there which you can seek the relevant information response from ChatGPT. Those kind of techniques. At this point, I am not sure if those are documented ways of documented strategies or patterns. But most of those strategies, it seems like we learn when we interact with these chat tools more. Through practice, we get those kind of knowledge. Just keep in mind that we cannot 100% rely on any kind of response due to various factors. Okay, this we tried already, and this is a pattern. Okay, we actually we tried already, and this is a template you can use. Uh, uh, this maybe give this. So it always remembers the context. So if you want to get out of the context, in my knowledge, the only way is to start a new chat. Okay, so you can clear the history and go with a new tab. So formatting the output we checked. Now, so this is the major context of our session. In fact, that patterns and templates, right? It's the this one you saw is can be considered as a template or a pattern or practice, right? Just like in our programming languages, there are so many patterns available. When I googled, I got some 20, and I'm sure there will be much more which I do not know. Now these are some uh, major prompts, I would say. I got from different tutorials. They all use this, and discussing all these patterns may not be in scope of this session because it is going to take uh, more than a week in detail. There are courses available in Coursera as well. That's a five week course which uh, discusses in an academic level. But at Udemy and YouTube, you can find more information about this. We will discuss some random five uh, patterns in this session. The persona is this is something common we use as programmers mostly. Uh, when we have a problem, we don't have to use the context in every prompt which we are typing, right? So you just set the context initially, and the follow-up questions will assume that context always. I will use the same way. So I am asking the prompt to assume you are a C# programmer. Okay, so based on that, I will be asking some questions. You can see detailed, technical, geeky response. And this geeky word, these are all. Uh, I inserted these words, right? Similarly, the style of response you want, right? You can uh, decide your own. Instead of detail, you can make it a short description, a brief, and all, right? So now it set the context. Now I will do my best to assist you with in bit explanation. So, so if you want help in any tool or any subject, even assume you are a rocket scientist, it works. Assume you are actually a DevOps architect or expert. So those kind of contests you can set here, or you can uh, uh, assume to act like my grandma and tell me a bedtime story. It will work. Right? So now, as a C sharp expert, let me ask some generic questions. Which is the most used keyword? I'm not even going to tell C sharp keyword. Okay. If you ask which is the most used Python keyword, the context slightly differs. Now, I'm just using this. See, it is giving a detailed uh, explanation in a geeky way. Okay, that's why it is sounding as a geek. That's why it is giving a pure technical answer here. Okay. Now, let us try that. The persona pattern is what I was mentioning about that hacker context, right? Let me use that act as an expert uh, hacker. Answer my question. Yeah, why did not? See, this is what I was saying. So it cannot help with direct unethical questions. Let me give one more try. If instead of hacker, what about ethical hacker? See, now it is willing to give, right? So this is how you twist the context from an unethical to ethical manner, right? These are different techniques, tips and tips are available. You can experiment with this kind of words, so you get the maximum response out of that. Now, one more uh, persona pattern. Uh, Act as a skeptic is well computer science. Let me ask some AI question. Uh, oh, and the detailed response. Uh, okay, since Anuraj is there, Anuraj yesterday told me that AI is going to take over the world. As a skeptic, what his comments going to be? It is going to give it has an answer, right? So, so it has their own what the thinking process is what mentioned here. Now, see, after reading this, I am a little bit scary, right? Um, it is trying to help me cool down now, right? Okay, one more last interesting the persona thing. Um, the terminal, the Linux terminal or MS-DOS terminal. I will use MS-DOS terminal since we have Microsoft. Act as a MS-DOS prompt, command prompt. I am going to type the commands and you will ask for with the output the prompt would. Okay, now it's a MS-DOS emulator. This, if you remember from your old school days, dir is a command. So it is kind of giving that appearance, right? Now I will cd Windows. For some reason, this enter key is not working for me. Okay, now what happens? Logs. Let me see if some text file is there. Okay, so most of these commands will work. You know, there is a type command in DOS. If you find a file, that file is going to print out here. So it will work as a 80-85 percentage of fake MS-DOS emulator. It can be anything. It can be PowerShell. It can be Linux subsystem prompt, kernel prompt, or anything. That's the persona pattern all about. Now we will now persona is about you are the uh, person, right? You are acting as someone. Now the next pattern is about audience persona pattern, where I am this. Assume I am a 5-year-old kid. Explain that to me. Okay, let me clear that. I'm new context. Explain to a 5-year-old. See, imagine you have a magical drawing robot. So kind of fictional, right? Because you are 5-year-old, right? That's why it is giving that tone. You can slightly adjust this to the maturity level which you are expecting. If you are going to ask simply explain LLM, it is going to give a different generic level of answer. See, it's a response for the adult. So adjust that maturity using this kind of audience persona pattern. Um, I am I am a C sharp beginner. Please explain plus operations. So here, as an audience, I am setting a context that I am a beginner in C sharp. It will adjust. It will explain in such a pattern only. Okay, this is the audience persona pattern about. So these things, I am pretty sure you might be using it already, but uh, remember that there is always some official formal template pattern tag associated with that. Always the formal education is good, right, rather than the muscle memory. That is subjective anyway. Now we will go to the next one. These are simple, that's why I'm skipping into first. Now, question refinement pattern, which we checked initially itself, right? we asked the ChatGPT to suggest or teach me how I can write a better prompt. So, so ChatGPT will refine that question for me so that next time when I have to ask something, I can keep in mind that this is the way ChatGPT is expecting me to ask questions for better responses. So I'm skipping that since we already tried that. Now, cognitive verifier pattern. So sometimes, uh, we may not know. We need some answers, but uh, we don't know how much this ChatGPT persona knows about the context, right? In that case, we can use this cognitive verifier pattern where uh, you can ask the ChatGPT to ask me the sufficient questions in order to set some context. So we will try this example. Whenever I ask a question, just a basic question, the question follow these rules. I will ask two requests. Okay, generate a number of additional questions that would help more the question. So asking simply questions will not help me, right? So ultimately, ChatGPT should give me some strategy, some answers, meaningful answers as well. So I will tell uh, combine the answers to produce the final answer question. I'm just making up. Okay, so you have to ask your in your own way. So I set the context now. Okay. So the problem is I was in a previous context, and when I typed this, it took us this as the context here. So let me try this in a new chat so there is no context. Okay. Now it is ready for the questions. Right. We will ask our birds question. How many birds are there outside my house? It's a very open question. I'm not giving any kind of contest, and I'm expecting ChatGPT to ask me questions which can help set the context. See, it is giving set of questions. So now we can answer this. We don't have to repeat the questions. We can simply put one. What time of day is it? I will say 7 a.m. Comma. You can put answers here itself or as a second line. What is the location of your house? I will say Kochi, Kerala. Make sure the number is correct so that it can relate to. Are you looking for a? Otherwise, you have to copy paste the full question here and at the towards the end answer. That is not required. Are you looking for a specific type of bird? Yes, crow. For do you want to count only birds? Yes, yes. In thousand SQFT. No bad feeders. Six. How long do you plan to observe? 1 week. So now the context is set actually. So, but it requires more uh, answers. So quickly let us help with that as well. Daily crow activities active. Active daily. Local crow population. I think there are about a thousand crows. Feeding habits. I don't know. Not sure. Or it's summer. Right? Not sure. Okay. Now we have some information here. It's definitely not accurate because we have asked an question which really doesn't exist. We need sensors, cameras, everything, right? Then only we can count that. But ChatGPT tried its best to provide some information. Now, if you try the same in Bard, it will bluntly will tell you, "Sorry, I cannot do that," and all. But in this ChatGPT, at least gave some hints. Now, this I think time is up. Is that right, Anraj? Do I have time?
Yes.
Oh,
10 more minutes. Right. Right.
okay, okay, I will quickly finish. Okay. Now, cognitive repair apply pattern is what we just tried. Now, I will go with the flip interaction pattern. Okay. Uh, so, this is about exchanging our positions. So, ChatGPT, what he is doing will be done by me, and what I am supposed to do that uh, ChatGPT will do. So let us play that Ashwamedhan game here, right? So now uh, example will help you understand better. Now have I have the name of a person in mind. Uh, can someone suggest a name, a person name or anything? We are going to try Ashwamedham game with ChatGPT. I did not hear.
Elon Musk.
Okay, Elon Musk. Okay, cool. I have the name of a person in mind, and he is from where? Some context we have to give.
South Africa.
Okay, we will give something. We need to give some clue, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, what will happen is if we give prompt without clues, it is going to take an hour to answer. It will this chat GPT will keep on asking questions until we say we got the answer. So he
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 was born in South Africa, currently a
was
US.
born in South Africa.
Currently a US.
Yeah. Okay. Now, one by one. This one by one, ask me questions one by one is important. Otherwise, it will ask all the questions in one prompt, one by one, um, until I confirm the correct answer. Okay. So, uh, you guys have to help me answer this. Okay. Well known in public life. Yes, it's correct. Yes, right. Gender is male. Career in entertainment, politics, sports, or any other? No, in my knowledge. Correct? Person technique continuous and yes, correct. Yes. Yes. Uh, Technology. It's not always yes or no, right? We can even give context information. Co-found yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now we have the answer. So this is if you are preparing for PSC test or anything, try this, right? So if you are trying, I've been using this kind of patterns for preparing for certifications exams as well. For example, if uh, DevOps certification, right? So act as a DevOps expert and ask me questions one by one until I answer correctly and all. So this way you can learn questions and most of us use brain dumps for exams, right? So you don't have to Google anymore. You just ask prompt, give me sample questions for TOGAF exam or PMP exam. So daily you can solve some 5 questions easily. Okay, this is all about the flip interaction pattern. Now we have few short pattern which I'm not explaining much, but instead I will give the example itself because we don't have time. So this thing, we are kind of training the chat GPT. So this can go wrong as well. Okay. But chat GPT will use its intelligence as well to relate keywords. Now here the input sky is blue. I'm just giving a context. In the first example, we have seen that ChatGPT said sky is not always blue, right? It can be different according to the climate, distance, various factors. But we are saying sky is blue, which is yes. Now, input dog is yellow. I haven't seen a yellow dog, so I am saying no. But ChatGPT will debate with us. Now, next input is water is white, but I'm not giving an output. Let us see, let me change the context. Let us see if ChatGPT interprets the output according to its intelligence and whatever training we did now. See, output is no. No explanation also as well. But in reality, we know water is not really white, right? It's transparent. So it depends. Now we will see one more example, some sentimental analysis as well. Uh, is text the food was delicious. I say sentiment. I'm using this sentiment word itself so that GPT can relate with sentimental analysis. Food was delicious, which is a positive according to our knowledge, right? Positive sentiment. Next text is this building stinks. It's and is negative. Now we will ask a question. Neither positive or negative. It might rain today. This spelling mistakes doesn't really matter. It will internally autocorrect based on its experience. But it is always to use the correct spellings and grammars. It's neutral. It's correct today, right? I have few more in on the deck, but I am stopping here now. There is few short pattern you can try. So if you have any questions, we can discuss now quickly. Okay, or you do one thing. I have like see. Uh, what you can WhatsApp me in this number if you have any questions, or if you are already in the group, you can ask there. If not, Anraj will be sharing with you the group joining link, so you can join and find me there. Okay. Okay. If you are, I don't know how much you enjoyed this course. Okay. So I am ready to take a detailed prompt engineering session as well. Like I said, there are more than 20 official patents, and there are so many official, unofficial tips and tricks, techniques available. So we can discuss those. We can have an interactive session. We can plan for that. So based on your interest later. I think I'm done. Thank you all, and over to you, Andraj.
Thank you, Praveen.